The guest who never left my heart. A true lesson about trust, family, and unseen fates. My mother's silence. For as long as I can remember, my mother had been sick. Not the kind of sickness you could see or touch, but the kind that slowly eats away at a person's soul. Her face was pale, her hands cold, and her eyes seemed to have lost their light years ago, the day my father passed away. I was only 28 when I lost him. A heart attack, they said. Quick, painless. But what followed was anything but painless. My mother, once full of warmth and laughter, became a shadow of herself. She spent her days lying in bed, staring at the ceiling fan that spun endlessly above her, as if it held the answers she had been searching for. I tried everything to make her feel better, medicines, therapy, vacations, but nothing worked. The house felt empty, no matter how many lights I turned on. Silence had become our third family member. One day, my friend Samir called me after a long time. "Hey man, it's been forever. Why don't you invite us over for dinner? Mom and Dad would love to meet your mother too." I hesitated for a moment. My mother didn't like guests much after my father's death, but she had been lonely lately. Maybe some company would help? "Sure, bring them over this weekend," I said, almost forcing enthusiasm into my voice. The weekend arrived faster than I expected. I cleaned the entire house, arranged fresh flowers in the living room, and told my mother that Samir and his family were coming. She looked surprised at first, but didn't object. "That's nice," she whispered weakly. "I haven't met new people in so long." That night, Samir, his father Mr. Rahim, and his mother Mrs. Rahim came over. Mr. Rahim was around 60, a tall man with a gentle smile and eyes full of wisdom. My mother seemed oddly happy around him. I noticed it, but didn't think much of it. For the first time in years, I saw her laugh, in a small, delicate laugh that felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. Samir and I talked about work, politics, and our college days, while our parents enjoyed each other's company. It felt good, like life was returning to our home. When they left that night, my mother said something I didn't expect. "They are such nice people, especially Samir's father. He's very kind." I smiled, happy to see her talk like that. Maybe things were finally changing. After that dinner, Samir's family became regular guests. Sometimes they came over for tea, sometimes for lunch. My mother and Mr. Rahim seemed to get along really well. They talked for hours about books, old memories, and even about life after loss. I didn't mind it. In fact, I was glad. My mother needed someone to talk to. I had my work, she had her loneliness. But as weeks passed, I noticed subtle changes. She started dressing up more often. She wore perfume again, something she hadn't done in years. I found her smiling at her phone one afternoon, and when I asked, she said, "Oh, it's just a message from Mr. Rahim. He was asking about my health." I laughed it off. After all, they were both adults. Maybe they just understood each other in ways I couldn't. 3 months later, on a dull Tuesday afternoon, I was at work when my phone rang. It was our housemaid, Shaza, and her voice was trembling. "Sir, you should come home. It's madam." My heart dropped. "What happened to her? Is she okay?" I asked, already standing up. "She's fine, sir, but she got married." I froze. "What? She got married? To Mr. Rahim?" The words didn't make sense. I thought she was joking, but her voice was dead serious. My mother, 60 years old, marrying my friend's father, without telling me, without even asking. I rushed home. The house was full of people, relatives, neighbors, and Samir's family. My mother stood there, wearing a simple white dress with a red dupatta. Mr. Rahim stood beside her, looking calm, almost proud. When she saw me, she tried to smile. "I was going to tell you," she said softly, "but I didn't know how." "Tell me," I shouted. "Mom, he's my friend's father." The room fell silent. Samir stood at the corner, his eyes fixed on the floor. I wanted to scream, to ask why, but no words came out. I just walked out of the house. That night, I didn't go home. I sat in my car, parked miles away, trying to understand what had just happened. Days passed. I stopped visiting home for a while. I couldn't face her, couldn't face Samir either. People whispered behind my back, saying things like, "At least she found happiness again," or "Love doesn't have an age." But I didn't see love, I saw betrayal. 3 months later, I received another call, this time from the hospital. My mother had passed away, a heart failure, they said, peaceful in her sleep. But when I saw her lying there, I couldn't help but feel she didn't die from illness, she died from guilt. Mr. Rahim stood near the window, was silent, his eyes were red. For a moment I wanted to hate him, but he looked broken too. She was lonely, he said quietly, and so was I. We didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. After her funeral, I never saw Samir again. He tried calling a few times, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. Every time I looked at his name on my phone, all I could think about was that night, my mother in a wedding dress beside his father. I left my job soon after. I couldn't concentrate anymore. Everywhere I went, someone would whisper about me, about my mother, about that marriage. So I left the city. Years passed. I built a new life in another town, new job, new friends, new everything. But my nights were never peaceful. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her sitting by the window, smiling at someone who wasn't my father. One day, I returned to my old house to sell it. Everything was covered in dust, but her presence still lingered. Her favorite chair, her scarf on the sofa, her perfume bottle half empty. I sat in the silence, realizing how much pain she must have carried, and how I never truly understood her loneliness. Now, when I look back, I don't feel anger anymore, just regret. Regret that I never tried to talk to her, regret that I never asked her why she did it. Maybe she was just tired of being alone, maybe she just wanted to feel loved again. But no matter what, one truth remains. Never let the outside world enter the fragile space of your home without knowing their intentions. Because sometimes people don't come to share your happiness, they come to take it away. It's been 15 years since my mother died. Samir and I never spoke again. I hear he moved abroad. I hope he's doing well. I've forgiven him, or at least I tell myself I have. But every time I look at an old photograph of my mother and father, I realize something. No matter how many friends you have, no matter how kind they seem, never forget that the walls of your home hold secrets that outsiders will never understand. And if you ever invite someone into your home, remember my story. Because trust, once broken, doesn't just shatter relationships, it shatters souls. Moral of the story. In life, you can have 1,000 friends, but never let anyone walk so deep into your home that they can walk away with your peace.